everyone. This is News Talk Radio.
John Gormley Live, brought to you this half hour by Bobcat of Regina.
News Talk 980 CJME. You can't add more hours to your day, but you can
To AgriMission.com. And that's the Delari BMW Community File.
passionate, opinionated, right? John Gormley, live.
Where Saskatchewan comes to talk.
News Talk 980 CJME.
Richard Brown in for John Gormley on this Remembrance Day, 2011. I was fortunate to interview the last surviving veteran of World War I, Canadian, by the name of John Babcock. When I interviewed him, he was 104, living in Spokane, Washington, with his much younger wife. Dorothy was, I think she was in her late 70s, much younger. And we sat in his living room, and he told me stories of what it was like for him. Now, John did not see any action in World War I. He first enlisted when he was 15 on the East Coast. They wouldn't take him. He lied. They figured it out. He came back 2 years later when he was 17 and enlisted. And they finally did send him overseas. And he was training in Britain to cross the Channel and go to France when the war ended. So technically he was a veteran, but he never saw action. But so many thousands of Canadians did. One of them was a fellow by the name of George Blackjack Vowell. He was a farmer from Peace River. His granddaughter, is a journalist. Her name is Jackie Larson. She works for QMI back east. And she found his journal and then edited it. And I want to share with you some of the entries from Blackjack Vowell's journal about his battles through 1915 and on. And by April of 1915, Blackjack was in the thick of the Second Battle of Ypres. The front, he says, was just the place for the person that likes thrills. The noise made by high explosive makes the hair stand, and then along comes the flying steel and fragments slithering through the air, making the most horrible sounds imaginable, which makes a cold chill run up and down the spine. Puts a sinking sensation in the pit of my stomach, and the brain starts urging the feet to beat it, and the feet refuse to act, and the knees get wobbly. His nerves break, he goes buggy. I've seen several cases of it. It isn't a pleasant sight to see. One entry from Corporal George Blackjack Vowell. His battalion was quickly decimated. Another entry. Words cannot describe the scenes we went through in Ypres, and I have often wondered since how so many of us ever got through alive. The battalion was fighting for 6 days. We went 4 days without anything to eat. And some of the boys never had any sleep during the 6 days and nights. We will win out in time, but at what cost? Some of the journal accounts are I guess you'd call it a succinct blur. Raid on German trenches failed. Germans waiting for us. 6 killed, a dozen wounded. Sandy Clark was killed today, shot through the head by a sniper. The Germans sent over 10,000 shells in an hour and a half. So damn homesick I can hardly do any work just waiting for the next lead. 22 kilometers march. We made it in less than 4 hours. One of the hardest marches I ever done. There are thousands of soldiers' carcasses lying up there yet. Another entry. The bullets were ripping the dirt up all around me for a bit, but none of them was marked with Blackjack, he wrote from Flanders Fields on New Year's Day, 1916. They've started strafing again, so if my spelling is bad, don't blame me. I'm doubled up in one corner of the dugout trying to make myself as small as possible and not making very much success of it. The beggars don't care where they throw the damn shells anyway. They're liable to hurt someone yet. I'm supposed to be an artist at swearing, but I choke up whenever I start in on the devils. And how tough was life for Blackjack? He walked 4 miles for a bath. Carried a wounded buddy for 1.5 miles to an outpost medic. Holidays, little fanfare. Here's another issue. I guess we'll be in the ditches on Christmas Day. Some prospects to look forward to. Christmas Day dawned foggy, wet, muddy, just like many of the winter days in Flanders. With the occasional bark of a gun breaking in on our festivities to remind us that everything was not as it should be. We had a pretty lively day of it. Last year, I spent Christmas on the plains. 2 years ago, I was working in a coal mine. 3 years ago, I was working on a ranch. 4 years ago, 2 boys and myself rode 60 miles to dance. We got snowed in and stayed a week. Another entry. I was on guard last night when the new year made her appearance, and say, talk about fireworks. I think I saw about the grandest display that ever let loose at once. And then, of course, the loss of buddies. Just some of the entries. From George Blackjack Vowell, farmer from East River, Alberta, who fought and survived World War I. Your call's coming up. I'm Richard Brown in for John Gormley. This is News Talk Radio.
Regina's #1 news and information station. News Talk 980 CJME.